Analysis now from Yossi Mekelberg. He's a professor at MENA program of Chatham House and joins us from London. Yossi, great to have you on the program with us. So a return to power for Netanyahu, along with his far-right allies. What could his government potentially look like?
Well, it's a good question. I don't think Netanyahu's dream government is to sit with Ben-Gvir and Smotrich and the far right, but he's the one that released this power because he wanted them to cross the threshold and support him, but he didn't expect them to do so well or that well. So in this sense, he's in a real conundrum. On the one hand, they help him to win this election and to return to power. On the other hand, he doesn't really want to sit either with them in government, definitely not alone with them with the ultra-Orthodox. Yet the other bloc said and promised their voters that they won't sit with Netanyahu in government. And he said that the other thing about them because he called them traitors and they were selling the country to the Arabs. So now he's victim of his own rhetoric. And as a result of it, probably he will have to sit with Ben-Gvir and Smotrich and religious Zionism. And the big question, A, is what kind of ministries he will give them. And the second thing, what they are going to demand. And more important, what's going to be the platform of the guidelines of this government. And this, I think, a real reason for concern to most of us.
What do you think the implications are here with the rise of this far-right and ultra-nationalistic movements, implications for Israel and for the region? What could this potentially spell?
I think on any level, if we are talking about a government in which Likud party and religious Zionism and ultra-Orthodox at the heart of it, I think we look at a government and a state that moves not only to the right, become more religious fundamentalist, when legislations will become more halachic, meaning more in line with the religious jurisdiction and less with a progressive liberal one. As far as concerned with the relations with the Palestinians, as it is, the UN Special Representative to the peace process said to the Security Council recently that 2022 is going to be probably the deadliest since 2005. So with this kind of government, when, for instance, someone like Ben-Gvir and his allies, his supporters, want to ease the rules of engagement for the IDF, meaning basically easier on the trigger, we'll see even more violence and we can see more clashes. And I think it's also embarrassed those countries that signed normalization agreements with Israel if this is the kind of direction that Israel is going to take. As far as peace process, there is no peace process to name, but at the same time, it's further than ever.
Netanyahu is also on trial for corruption, and that was a big part of his loss of popularity. What happens with all of that?
Yeah, I think it's going even beyond the Netanyahu corruption. Of course, he faces 3 counts of corruption for bribery, fraud, and breach of trust. And this is the first time that the prime minister will be in power, in an office, while his trial is conducted in a court case. So in a complex country that needs the full attention of the prime minister, here he is, needs to defend himself, and the evidence given in court so far is worrying. But let me remind you, other members of this potential government, one of them, the head of Shas, is someone that was convicted already of corruption twice. Some other members of potentially of this government are under investigation. So when it comes to good governance, accountability, it's going to be a very problematic government.
All right, we'll leave it there. Professor Yossi Mekelberg joining us from London. Thank you.